Hey everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Linking to the Afterlife. This season will continue with our soul existence readings and connecting with your loved ones in spirit. We will also be adding a few organic chats with friends and episodes explaining more about communicating with the afterlife. If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, see the show notes. Thanks for listening. In this video, I'm going to talk about dreams. They are my favorite way of receiving signs from spirit and our loved ones. If you don't dream, I guarantee you are dreaming. You're just not remembering. So the first thing about dreams I'm going to share with you is before you go to sleep, ask spirit to remember your dreams. Just simply say, I'd like to remember my dreams. And even if you don't remember dreaming, when you first wake up, maybe in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, notice how maybe you feel. Notice the thoughts in your head. This is before you jump out of bed. This is before the mind starts going to all the things you need to do during the day that day. What I want to create, if you don't dream, what I want to create, or if you think you don't dream, what I want to create is this great way for spirit to send you these signs in these dreams and for you to remain open to receive these signs. So you give spirit that idea to remain open by saying first, before you go to bed, I want to remember my dreams. I'm ready to dream. And then in the morning, if you don't remember, say, I feel that dream. Thank you for sending me those dreams, but I didn't remember them. So we'll try that again tonight. Keep going with, yes, I can remember my dreams, because they are great ways to hear from spirit and your loved ones. I've been working with them for well over 15 years, long before I became a medium. One of the first times I remember asking was, I had just started teaching yoga and I was teaching at someone else's studio, and I wasn't getting the following I thought I was going to get. Wasn't getting the people. So that night before I fell asleep, I said to the universe, send me a sign in my dream about what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm meant to teach yoga. I feel it so deep within me, but I'm not getting the people. That night, I had a very specific dream. So dreams can be literal or they can be figurative. Literal dreams are just that. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do. You don't have to interpret anything. Figurative dreams, you might have to interpret a little bit, and we're going to talk about that too in this series, in this video. So that night, I had a dream about going up to the local health club where I lived. It was the actual health club. I went up to the health club. I'd never been in there before. I went to the front desk and I said, are you guys looking for a yoga teacher? And they said, yes, we've never had a yoga teacher. When I woke up the next morning, I remembered that dream, and I immediately went to the local health club, walked to the front desk, took all the courage I could muster, walked to the front desk and said, do you guys need a yoga teacher here? I'd love to teach here. They said, yes, we've never had a yoga teacher here. When can you start? And I said, this week. So I started teaching there 2 days a week. My first class, I think there were over 70 people in that class. Again, they had never had a yoga teacher there. I taught there for a year until I opened up my own studio. At the end of that year, I didn't know how I was going to find a yoga studio. It was a small town. I didn't have a lot of money, but I knew I wanted my own space. I went right back to dream work. Before I went to bed one night, I said, can you send me a sign about where or what place I'm going to open up my yoga studio, because I was confident that that was what I wanted to do. Confidence was big before I fell asleep that night. I knew that was what I wanted to do. The next morning when I woke up, I didn't remember a dream. However, before I opened my eyes, I just lie there for a moment. I didn't get my mind all riled up about the day. And I heard something in my head. This was before I became a medium. I heard in my head, go visit your friend Sally at the pizzeria. Sally owned the local pizzeria, and she was a good friend of mine. So that's what I did. I went right to the pizzeria and I started talking to my friend Sally. And I asked her, hey, I really need to open my own space. Any ideas about who's renting in the town? And her husband, who happened to be sitting there, Rick, said, did you try over the Green Mountain store there, the furniture store? I know that space used to be a workout space. It's worth trying. So what did I do? I went right to that space. It was a beautiful, about 1,000 square foot space. But it was filled with office equipment, boxes, desks, chairs. I said, I don't know who owns this, but I walked across the hall. I knocked on someone's door and I asked, you guys know who owns this space right across the hall here? And the guy said, I do. And I said, would you be willing to sublet it or rent it? And he's like, yes. What are you going to use it for? And I said, a yoga studio. And he said, I love yoga. He had it cleared out within 2 days. He let me go in there and paint. He let me put ropes on the wall. I stayed there for probably 3 years until I sold it to someone else. Dreams, what a beautiful way. So if you are struggling with anything in your life, you can't find the answer. You have the questions, but don't have the answers. Before you go to sleep at night, get quiet, close your eyes, and ask anyone. You could ask a loved one. You could ask any sort of spirit guide. We talked about in the last video about spirit guides that we have. Ask them to show you what's next in your life. What's next? This happened to me also. I didn't know where I was going next. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I knew the universe had other plans for me, but I didn't feel I was following my purpose. I didn't know what it was. Now I know that everything is my purpose. But I did it again. I went to sleep and I specifically asked, what is my purpose here? What am I meant to be doing? And that night I had a dream. This was more metaphor. So see if you can figure it out as I'm telling the dream. I was wait staff on a train. And the train was busy, crowded with a lot of people. And all I was doing was running up and down the aisles of the train through all the cars. I was giving people water, giving them drinks. They were asking for directions once they got off the train. They were asking for things to write on. They needed a pencil. They needed to know where the bathrooms were. I was right there for everybody. And it was fast moving, and there were a lot of people asking a lot of questions. But I dealt with it. It was really cool. When I woke up the next morning, I was kind of going, what was that about? All I was doing was serving people. Did you get it? I heard it immediately when I said it, that I meant to be here to serve people. I took that to heart. I took that as a wonderful affirmation that, Donna, what you're doing here is just what you're meant to do, serving people. So asking the question before you fall asleep, and if you don't dream, asking to remember your dream. Those are all great ways of doing this. Let's say you've had dreams since you were a child and you didn't know what they meant. I've got a dream journal that's thick. I've done a year worth of Jungian dream analysis, which told me so much about my current dreams and the dreams I had when I was a child. And I used to have 2 reoccurring dreams my whole life. I'm 60 now. My whole life. One was about not being able to find my locker in high school. Always going through my high school, the literal high school that I went to, and going through the halls not being able to find my locker. And the second one was about teaching to crowds of people up on a stage with crowds of people, thousands of people in front of me. And this was before I became a yoga teacher, way before I became a medium. And I didn't know what they meant, but I kept having them. So sometimes The dreams you've had consistently don't have the answer right away. Sometimes it's years later. I'll read my dream journal now, and that was 15 years ago, and I'll look at a dream that I wrote out. So it's good to keep a journal of your dreams, even if you don't understand them. And when I looked at some of the dreams, I could see now, years later, wow, now I get what that means. Now, not then. So remember those two consistent dreams that I had. The locker dream. I finally, I don't know, maybe about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I found my locker. And when I opened it, after years of looking for my locker, when I opened it, all these receipts, bank receipts came out. All this money had accumulated all these years in my locker. I finally found it. I finally opened it. Receipts, all these bank receipts. So I took that as a clear sign that now I was going to be able to maybe earn, to have abundance. It wasn't really financially, it was like money. It was abundance in so much of my life. I was learning to love so much more. I was learning to come out as who I truly am so much more. So I saw that as gaining abundance. And remember the second one about teaching to crowds and crowds of people. I was having that till about 3 years ago. And I kept waking up saying, I don't know how at my age now I'm going to accumulate all of these followers to be able to go, like, say, do a workshop and have thousands of people. I questioned it. I didn't say no to it. I'm like, I'm open to that, but I don't know how that's going to happen. Can you guess how that's happening now? It's happening through social media. That I am able to bring everything I know and love to this platform, to all the platforms I'm on. And I am literally teaching to thousands of people, only they aren't right in front of me. They are vibrationally and they are virtually, but they aren't literally in that room in front of me. I just figured that out a couple years ago. Okay, synopsis about dreams. Ask the specific questions or ask general questions. And then when you wake up in the morning, if you don't remember or you don't understand the dream, number one, first, before you open your eyes, how do you feel? What's going on in your head? Is there emotions? Are there emotions going on? Are there physical symptoms in your body? And then secondly, write it all down or talk it into your phone. Go speak to someone about it. Just the idea of telling your dream to someone else will let you hear things that you didn't hear when you woke up. I'm available. If you want me to interpret a dream, go ahead and email it to me. If you have any questions about dreams, send me an email. All the information is in my profile. Thanks for joining this one also. Take care.